Hi, thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more. Hey everyone, we are so excited to have you listen to our latest episode, Hot Takes on Hot Topics with the Mom Boss Chronicles. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up though. When we recorded this episode, it was still a mystery about where Kate Middleton was. During today's episode, you're going to hear us discuss the conversation of where is Kate. The news recently came out that she has cancer, and of course, our hearts sank. That was the last thing we wanted to hear. We were hoping that it was maybe some much needed rest, some elective surgery, but the fact that she has cancer is definitely concerning. We're sending the princess all of our positive hopes and prayers, and we hope she has a speedy and healthy recovery. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome back, everyone, to Mom Boss Chronicles. We are here today to give our hot takes on hot topics.
Ooh, yeah. Look at our new gear, guys.
Totally. Mom brain. I forgot mine. We were supposed to coordinate. We're all supposed to wear it, but I literally had mom brain, and I realized as I was driving here.
Yeah. For those listening, we have some Mom Boss Chronicles merch. So if anyone's interested, let us know.
That's right. So Jen's gonna lead us in this conversation because she's all down with
I'm obsessed with with the news and hot topics. So
Our little Gemini.
Yes. So I'm excited to get your guys' perspective on some hot topics.
Yes.
So one of the biggest hot topics lately, if you've been living under a rock and have not heard, we are wondering where Kate Middleton is.
Where is Kate? Everyone's asking. I mean, I'm intrigued by the royals. I don't know why.
Me too, right?
Yeah. Like this is
we don't live in London.
No, we don't live there. But I guess like in my brain, I'm like, kudos to them for still maintaining relevance for 1,000+ years when they don't like. What are they?
Especially now,
in this day and age, you know. So I guess it's intriguing. And plus, like I think Kate Middleton or Princess Catherine and William, like they just seemingly are very kind people and normal and down to earth and are raising kids, and then like this whole
drama.
Where's Kate?
Because there's so many different conspiracies. So it all started because she hasn't been seen.
Yeah, so what I gathered, and I follow their page on social media, was back in like February or January. There was an official statement that came out saying that she was having abdomen surgery and that she would be essentially healing until and not doing like any duties of hers until like public
outings.
Until after Easter. So, I mean, okay, it's not Easter yet. It's not one part of it. It's like, dude, like, I guess,
told us.
should we just leave her alone?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she is really...
I didn't know that they...
Yeah, there was a real statement. And then, but I guess because, like, for real, no one has seen her at all.
Yeah, and then there was a weird thing where they said an ambulance was at the house.
Right.
Shortly after, I think, the abdomen surgery. So was that complications? And obviously, what was the surgery for?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it cosmetic? Was it not? Was it something serious? Is she sick?
Right. Yeah, all these conspiracy thoughts coming up. And then the affair.
They think that William is having an affair.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She had like a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to know.
And the thing that I think made it worse was that photo. So then
it didn't look like her.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day. So it was Mother's Day in London, England, and and she had a photo of her and her 3 kids. And at first I was like, "This is beautiful."
Right.
Then thinking of it.
Oh, look, she's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But apparently, if you like zoom in, like the wrist or like it's photoshopped really bad.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of when her
the video
and William were walking out.
Yes. No, there's a photo that was photoshopped, and she actually admitted it through Twitter or something, saying, "Sorry, I was playing around with Photoshop." Really weird.
At first, I would have never picked up on that. Like, I just don't have an eagle eye like that, and I was even zooming in. But what I found intriguing, and of course, I'm deep diving into comments, right, of what people are writing, because Instagram flagged it as a not valid
the photo.
photograph.
Oh my God.
Like there's a disclaimer
like
at the bottom.
AI.
Which first part of me is like, fuck off, Instagram. And someone wrote a comment like, does this disclaimer come up on every picture of the Kardashians? Like,
literally, because they're all
Photoshop. But it's just, I don't know. For me, like this whole situation, when it's like, it's funny, right? It's interesting. It's intriguing. I really hope she is okay. Obviously, I feel like we would know if there were something nefarious, but it does make you think like all of these things that go on that we don't even know about in like this elite social, like the socialite world that like we
they have
don't
to
even
keep
know
their
about.
apps.
Right.
Like, because there was that video. So then people said that they have video, is what you're talking about, of her walking around a farmer's market with William. But if you zoom in, it doesn't really.
Doesn't even look like her.
Yeah. So people say, is that body double?
Right. Yeah, and even if not, if I knew that the prince and princess were walking behind me, like you could see people in the background, no one turned around. Like
there would be more pictures circulating.
Yeah, that or like the people who were around them would be probably turned around, like holy shit.
Especially because there's this whole thing going on where she's somehow disappeared. Yeah. So there would be more photos, I think.
And it's weird because they know that there's such speculation, but they're not really commenting. Like, hey, her surgery is because of X. I guess it's none of our business. And it's not, but we are just so obsessed with.
Yeah. I go back and forth because people are, it really is none of our business. If we had that done to us, we would be pissed off. But on the other hand, she chose to be a sovereign.
I was going to say,
they are, that's public funds that funds their life.
Yeah,
you know
you have you have this responsibility, even not as a royal, as just anyone who is a celebrity. You sort of have this quote unquote responsibility
for your fans.
Yeah, to uphold that image, right?
Yep.
Not put out fake pictures to make your people wonder if something's wrong.
Well, and I'm sure it's not her at the end of the day. I mean, I think we know from like what's her face,
Diana.
Not Diana. Who's
Meghan.
Meghan.
Who
that,
left?
Like, it's the firm. It's an institution, and it's very calculated. So I'm sure someone's.
I couldn't imagine. Like, obviously, when Meghan and Harry left, at first I was like, "That's crazy." But then when you like think about the scrutiny you live under, I don't think I could ever live like that.
No.
So I couldn't imagine being somewhere where like literally everything is scrutinized, and the tabloids I heard are really relentless in London.
Oh yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah,
much worse than here.
So I couldn't imagine that life. So Princess Kate, we hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Come out wherever you are.
Hopefully we see you
healthy.
Easter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got about a week and a half.
Pull it together, Westminster.
Another hot topic that I've been seeing on social media, people are debating whether or not children should still have sleepovers.
This is a hot topic.
And we're moms of kids who, my son is 8, your son is 8 also. You have a 5-year-old. When I think back on my childhood, I had sleepovers.
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
And I will not be allowing my children to sleep at anyone's house.
Yeah.
I mean, they can
Same.
sleep
I
at
don't want
my
that.
siblings' house, but that and my mom.
What like
but that's it.
why is your stance on that?
Because you never know who's a pervert.
Yep.
Yeah. And even if they seem well.
Totally. I mean, you hear these crazy stories like, oh, Cindy's dad was the nicest guy who was our best friend. And then you find out
Well, there's a story, I think it was in California, of a dad who hosted a sleepover with his daughter. Did you hear?
Yep.
And he made them smoothies.
Yeah.
And this one girl didn't like the way it tasted, so she didn't finish it.
And she called her parents.
And she was texting and calling her parents because the dad came down, I guess, when the girls were passed out. And thank God that girl didn't fall asleep.
Put fucking Xanax.
Was that what it was? It ended up being
Yes. Like, I mean, I can't. That is part of it, because you don't know, right? You really just don't know. But I fucking snuck out of my friends' houses.
Oh, yeah. As
you
a
know
teen,
what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I'm thinking like as a younger,
yeah.
but yes, this shit I did when I was a teenager.
Or definitely not even for me also, I never slept. And then I would come home the next day completely
Yes,
groggy.
mess, yeah.
And then the scary stories we would tell each other, my mind would be like, oh my God, I would have nightmares for days. Like, I don't think anything good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what I would allow is maybe a stay late.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Someone posted that recently. It was like a stay late.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to stay
like that
until over
idea.
till midnight, you
Watch
could
movies.
watch movies and do popcorn and that kind of aspect.
And then I'm going to pick you up.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
like
think
that.
and I remember too, even being younger, going to sleepovers. There was always. It was cliquey, right?
Oh, yes.
Someone's left feeling left out,
Yeah,
or someone
mean girl
is something
energy. Yeah.
weird, or like we're gonna put your
Or
underwear,
prank call people.
Yeah, right.
Damn, Sue, what kind of sleepovers are you going to?
No, it's
But you're right, because you start doing crazy things. Nothing good is happening after midnight.
Right.
Because you start prank calling
Yes.
or being mean
Oh,
to the
the
other
prank
person.
calling.
Yes.
That kind of was fun though.
Or the Ouija board came out.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, this is bringing back so many memories.
Yeah.
Totally. But I agree. Like listen, unless it's like my best friend Janine Michaels has slept over her house many
Right.
times. She has 3 daughters and like, I've known her whole family
Yeah.
my whole life. They are pretty much family. So like I trust them. My girls, of course my brother, like, yeah, you're right. Family. But I think beyond that.
You know what I would do, and we've done it before? I'm totally fine with like the parents sleeping over. Like we have friends, we're fortunate enough where they have kids same age. So then we'll do a sleepover. Everybody stays over.
Everybody sleep over.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we'll do that every once in a while. And my son has his friend there and the parents are there. Like I'm more comfortable with
Yeah,
that than like
yeah.
you going to a stranger's house and I'm not there.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
yeah.
I mean, they can come to my house if they want.
Yes,
If
right.
their parents
Yeah.
aren't comfortable, then I totally
But I don't. My
understand.
friend recently hosted a sleepover. She was saying for her daughter, and she was like, "Oh God, these girls did not go to sleep, and I never want to do that
yeah,
again."
I'm sure.
It was so. I had to like get them. I begged them to go to sleep by midnight. Then they were up by like 5, and then they wanted pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
a
like,
lot of work.
Yeah, I like the stay late idea. That's cute.
yeah.
Yeah, no sleepover.
And I think, listen, our kids will survive without, the sleepovers. Is it going to be tough when they're begging? Of course.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, it's a different world we live in, or a more informed world that we
Conscious.
live in.
Yeah.
And we have to protect our children at all costs.
I feel like other parents feel. I think other parents feel that way.
I've been
Yeah.
hearing
The
that.
consensus.
And even like I know I think you said you weren't really allowed to sleep out, right?
I wasn't. I begged and I
Yeah.
cried.
Yeah.
There was a few times where I was, but
Yeah.
my mom didn't want me to. But we definitely did, like for birthday special occasions.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this is where I stayed up late, played with Ouija board, had
Right.
nightmares for days. Yeah, watched scary movies I shouldn't have. Like,
I was
Yeah.
like, because Paul said that too. Like he was not allowed to sleep out.
Oh, they were strict.
They were
Yeah.
strict. And listen, I think at the end of the day, like you have to protect your kids. And
Yes.
when I hear to be their best friend, it's probably be like, I hate you.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Totally.
Which I feel like this conversation parlays a little bit into like kids on social media, right?
Yeah.
Or like getting phones.
Oh my gosh,
super
I
early,
don't want-
so bad.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I
I
don't.
know.
I don't want that ever. I
No.
don't. If it was up to me, never. You never get social media.
Right.
Till you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you're like truly
Or
old
at
enough.
least I mean,
Right.
high school, it's inevitable. I feel like at that
Well,
age,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I feel like 16 is
Yeah.
like a good age.
Totally.
For social media.
But I feel like they have such pressure,
Yeah.
to get it like at early ages, and I don't know how I can fend them off without the tears and the drama of it all.
I mean, that's like what it's
we
going to
all
come
need
down
to
to.
say no.
Well, that's what I think. One, I saw something like I think the government
they're trying to
looking
do
to
right.
ban social media for children under 16, I believe
That
it
would
is.
be awesome.
Which, like, on the one, this is me always playing devil's advocate. I don't want the government
I know.
interfering
Yes.
at all with
Totally.
any shit. Like, but at the same time, there's so many fucking negligent parents out there that are just not paying attention, or it's like
Or even if you're not negligent, you just don't even know who your kids are communicating with.
correct.
And like you could think that you're checking and monitoring, but who are they talking to and who
Right.
did they agree to meet up with?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
being bullied and
Yes.
and the predatory part of it all,
Even if I think you set their accounts to private, I don't know. I feel like I've heard there's so many
Yeah.
workarounds to it.
So and that's like, all right, if they banned it for people under 16, how do you even
you can't.
Right,
They're
you
going to figure out a way
Totally.
anyway. 'Cause
There's gonna
they're
be a
so
workaround.
smart.
Yeah, well, you put your birthday in.
Right.
How do you?
Yes.
Strange.
But like, the one thing article I was reading, I think it was the Washington Post, I forget, but it's just about like, can we all band together and
Yeah.
say like, hey, one, children don't need smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
You
You're
can
right.
have a flip phone.
So you
like,
can
as
call
long
me.
as you can call your parents if something happens, God forbid. You don't need a smartphone. Like, if anything, that shouldn't be until high school because it is affecting children's development. They're anxious, they're obviously being
And their mental health.
their mental health is fucked.
This is why I think we are at that point where the mental health is declining because
Yeah.
what are they consuming on there?
and the
Totally.
intelligence, like
Right.
everyone's like, oh, duh.
Yeah, well, they don't know how to
Swear.
critically think anymore. They're not being forced, and they're not outside playing.
Right.
With
You know,
social
we're-
interactions.
Yes.
And like another thing that goes in hot topic social media, body image. They're seeing
yeah.
influencers who have a certain body, and
Yep.
it breaks my heart if they think that that's the way you're
Well, think
supposed
about
to look
how
to be
we
beautiful.
feel looking
right?
at these influencers with these amazing bodies. Like, we feel like shit about it.
Right.
And we at least, like, have the, acumen in our brains to at least talk us out of ourselves,
Yes,
and be
but
like,
the
no,
young
that's
minds
not a
don't.
reality. They don't. They think that is, like, what it is.
Yeah,
you
it's
Yeah.
not even real most of the time either.
I know. So it's hard. So social media is a place that's like a scary wild, wild west.
Yeah. So parents, can we like all
Let's band
band
together.
together and try to protect our children
From being on there.
from sleepovers
And
and
social media.
Followers on social media.
And a
Promise we're not crazy.
Yes, and a weird trend they were saying that's happening with young girls on social media too is apparently all these young girls are into skincare routine.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I don't
weird.
know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm like,
so bizarre.
I mean,
they're going to
It-
Ulta
yeah.
and
They need
Sephora and trying to spend hundreds, but like, is it because of social media they think that they have to look a certain way?
I'm sure, right? I'm sure that
Hopefully a
that
trend.
is that. Like, but think about like your skin is your largest organ, right? So like, I don't know. When I was young, I don't even know if I ever
Worse.
put lotion
Yeah.
on my face.
No.
You know, but like, let your little baby skin be baby skin.
And yeah,
Put these chemicals,
Chemicals, yes.
on your skin. You're just young. Let like
yeah. Wait until you get older and you have
Let it
money from
be.
work to
Right.
invest in
Yeah.
good products.
Yeah.
That is good for your skin.
And I get it, as I can't imagine what it's like raising a teenage daughter today, and you know the pressure. But like again, like I don't know. Say no.
Yeah, and like with the Stanley Cup and young girls.
Yep.
oh my
They were
God,
saying that, like, obviously it's popular, but like, even young girls feel like they're ostracized or
Yep.
outcast if they don't show up to school with their Stanley
how
Cup.
easy is that?
And I know we've had that when we were younger, but it just breaks my heart that still happens. Like,
Yeah.
God, we didn't learn.
Right. No, I know. Well, yeah. You don't have like go back to like wanting Calvin Klein jeans or something.
Another hot topic that's been in the news lately, Ozempic. So
Yes.
Oprah has admitted to using weight loss drugs. And obviously Oprah has struggled with her weight, you know, for years. She'll openly talk about it. She was part of Weight Watchers. So it's interesting. Part of Weight Watchers, healthy eating. And then it's awesome or interesting to hear her be honest that she used weight
Yeah.
loss drugs.
I appreciate that.
Right? I
Yeah.
appreciate the
Keep
honesty
it real,
and the
man.
transparency of it.
Right.
Because a lot of people I feel like in Hollywood are using these drugs but don't want to talk about it.
Of course.
And then it gives you like a false sense of like reality.
Well, again, like that goes back to like, oh wow, she must be working out really hard and eating really well, and you're like, damn, why can't I like
Get this
I go
body.
to the gym and
Yeah.
I'm eating well, but I can't do that. Well, they're fucking taking Ozempic.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
And so my mom said that I guess Oprah did a whole special on it. I haven't seen it, but and how obesity is now going to be, I guess, classified as an actual disease.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and how there are people who, no matter what they do, they can't lose the weight. And
yeah,
it's because
genetics
it's a
or- yeah.
biological
and it's
issue.
like the obesity keeps climbing, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Like I think we're at a threshold where it just keeps getting higher, the stats
Oh,
each
sure.
year.
Sort of
look at
food
all the
is shit,
crap
but-
that
yeah,
people eat. Or,
and our busy lives and everything. But I don't know. I'm all for it.
I mean, listen, I
Sign
feel
me
that
up.
right. Lauren Manzo.
Oh,
Oh my God, she looks like
Phenomenal.
a completely different
Yeah,
person.
right. But she admitted to it, you know,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I appreciate it. If you want to try it and it works for you, like
cares?
fabulous.
You're healthier now,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I
at
think
least
that
hope,
and
right?
I'm all for it. I think that people just need to know the side effects and
Yeah.
not just be like it's a one size fit all.
Right.
Like really be honest. If it's not going to work for you and your body, like don't
Yeah.
feel left out in a way. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like any other medication, right?
I guess. I mean, I would love to try it, but I also, my nervousness falls around like it's not been out long enough. Yet.
Yes,
To see
like, what are the
long-term
long-term side
effects?
effects?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it seems to be like working wonderfully, they say. But
Yeah.
like how will it work on the body years to come?
Yes.
And what happens if you go off of it?
Right.
Right.
You know, you're just going to
you
like
take it forever?
Right.
Yeah.
Rubber band right back to where
Yeah.
you were and then some. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I think like with that, of course you have to be, if you come off it, if and when, you have to be very careful. But I guess I kind of compare it to if you're doing a paleo diet.
yeah.
That's it's such a strict diet. I've done it before, and in my opinion, it's not sustainable for
Long
most
term,
people.
yeah.
Long term,
Yeah.
So once you stop that, you're
Right.
back to gaining
Yeah.
weight. So it's all about finding balance. I think if you
Yeah.
are on it and you change your lifestyle as a whole, you're
Right.
working out, you're eating better, and then I think you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on your body type, but
Maybe science will like even create a better product now that we know that this works.
Right.
Maybe there'll be another happy
Something,
medium that
yeah.
evolves that'll be even better. We'll see.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it's interesting that there are these options and there is an obesity problem. Hopefully this does help people who need the help.
Yeah, for sure.
Another hot topic lately has been like plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Megan Fox recently went on a podcast and she talked about plastic surgery, and she's beautiful.
My girl
like,
crush.
yeah.
Just the way she looks. I don't know about the personality.
But like she's like one of the most beautiful people.
Definitely.
And I was like, wow, you had plastics. You were
What did she say she had done?
her nose, her breasts, yeah. And then she said there was one thing that she had done that she doesn't want to talk about, though. She's going to keep it,
Okay.
which is weird because it's like, well, you were so open about everything
Yeah,
else.
And like, what else?
bizarre.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I am all for, a little here and there, the Botox.
I had my nose done. And I am so happy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was very self-conscious. I used to have a bump on my nose, and I got my nose done. I got engaged, and I remember being like, I don't want to take wedding photos.
yeah.
It's my profile. So I got married in 2013. 2012, I went for the nose surgery.
Oh, wow.
It was a hard recovery. So which is while the people keep getting so many plastic surgery done,
Yeah.
because the recovery is
You're like,
not
"Oh,
fun.
that's
I know.
It hurt.
Yeah, I bet.
I want a reduction, like so bad, but
Yeah.
I'm
Afraid of the recovery. Yeah, it
Here,
sucks.
it's like brutal.
Yeah. But it was worth it. If you really want something, I think
Yeah.
it'll totally be worth it because no regrets with the nose. I
Listen,
love
I
it.
think something like that, if it's going to like not it's not vanity per se, it's to help you feel better,
confident.
Right.
Yeah.
It is
And,
like, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
I just when people get carried away and they look like they're in a wind tunnel or
I
something. I don't
know.
know.
But it does, like, I mean, Megan Fox, who's gorgeous, and she needs, like,
Yeah.
she's feeling like she needs,
Right.
plastic surgery, and
Crazy.
or it just really puts things in perspective. How,
Yeah.
like, us regular folk,
Right.
like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I know.
And it's a slippery slope, I think, with plastic surgeries. Like a few procedures, if you're comfortable and good, but then I think some people get obsessed with it.
totally.
And then they go to the extreme, like
Yeah.
Joan Rivers, right?
Right.
Like,
Oh my
and she
goodness,
admitted it
yeah.
all,
Yeah.
but she was very obsessed with that next procedure.
Yeah. She like paved the way, right?
Literally.
And having just endless funds. Just
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I know. I wonder if I did. If
I've
I
been
would.
getting Botox all the time. They were talking like this.
Yeah. I love my Botox too. Like, thank God for that. Like, there are certain things where I'm like, I'm so happy, but then there's other things where you have to reel yourself in and be like,
Yeah.
it's okay to age.
Yes.
It's okay to not look perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
We're lucky to be getting older.
blessed.
Like,
yes.
Definitely.
Sorry.
And
Age
half the
gracefully.
people who have plastic surgery who are on social media are airbrushed anyway,
Yes.
which is wild. Like,
I
know.
don't get it. I don't get it. Just be you. It's okay. We're going to love you anyway.
I know. I didn't like. We went through this whole airbrushing fiasco. I feel like with the magazines.
Yes.
Back in the 90s and 2000s, we're like, oh, I was airbrushed. We're still doing it on social media.
Right.
It's like, why?
Crazy.
Why?
And the filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yes, I agree.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just be you. Another thing that came out recently was Quiet on Set. It's a documentary, and it's wild because we are millennials and we grew up with Nickelodeon.
Yep.
And they were saying how Nickelodeon was like very cutting edge because it was the first like TV like programming geared towards our age, like all that, like all these shows.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the producer behind like iCarly and some of those popular shows from the 90s and 2000s, Dan Schneider, it's come out and people said that they've tried to warn it, for years about it, but it's come out that he was like a monster and he allowed a lot of things to go on behind the scenes. Abuse, sexual abuse, like degrading. One of the actors from All That said she vividly remembers the producers telling her she was getting too fat.
What?
Yeah, and she was like 12. And they were like,
Ooh, was that Amanda Bynes?
no, her name was Katrina, I believe.
I feel like I vaguely remember some of and forget like the former Nickelodeon kids who are now like pop
Yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
mentioning I can't think of their names.
Oh,
What's her name?
Ariana
Grande.
Grande.
Yeah.
like mentioning something like that before or hearing that and that. Also, like, where were your parents?
So
Yeah.
supposedly they were supposed to be on set.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they say they were, but they were then also taken to like
Yeah.
different parts of like
They were
the
distracted
studio.
in some way, I'm sure.
So like the pressure to be a certain way, they said was prevalent on there. And then they said if you look at some of the sketch comedies or the stuff, like there was an obsession with feet, like a lot of this stuff was a little suggestive.
Yeah.
They had like Ariana Grande has a video where she's laying in bed and she's getting water squirted on her.
Oh, yes, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
yeah.
another one where she's squeezing a potato and like making groaning sounds. And like, they're like, why would you do these to
Yeah.
these kids? Like,
Right.
why are you humiliating them?
This also
this
like
documentary.
just like really goes to how can we stop sexualizing children? Like it's really
You're right.
so gross. Like God, how many fucking pedophiles are out
Right.
there?
And who's running this stuff? I
Yeah.
cannot
Like,
believe
I'm
that.
Michael's gonna live in a fucking bubble, man. Jesus,
I know.
Christ.
Like, let them be children.
Yeah.
And this is why,
Well,
like,
and they don't even know what like they're doing.
yeah,
like
no.
Horrible.
And this is why, like we were saying earlier about like, we're like, I wouldn't let Michael be a model or anything, right? Like you don't want him in the industry.
No, people have asked, and it's I'm not personally, my personal feelings. So no offense to anybody, but like I find that as exploitation. He is not at an age where he's able to make that decision on his own. If he's like a teenager and he's like, "Hey, mom,
I really want to pursue acting.
I want to do something like exactly. I'm going to support him." But like as a 4 or 5, like a baby, a 4 or 5-year-old, who the fuck am I to make that decision for him?
Right.
Yeah.
And also, there's so many creeps in that industry and just in general.
And if you look at the child actors, a lot of them are like sad story. Like Amanda Bynes, that is she was beautiful and funny. They feature her on Quiet on Set. She was like a stand-up comic at like 10 or whatever. Funny, good timing, great actress. What happened to her?
Yep.
What happened?
I know.
I'm so confused by her story.
They say that she is bipolar, so that could play into it. But they also say that she was probably abused by this Dan Schneider, which and something about her father too. Like he wasn't the best at like I guess protecting his daughter.
Yeah. Well, if the money is rolling in,
yeah,
and that's the other thing too.
She became a star young,
right?
And she was featured on shows young.
She was so cute and sweet.
Yeah.
Like, oh god,
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all this stuff is happening to children at the most impressionable points in their lives, you know. And then, gosh, if your parents aren't protecting you, like then you feel like, well, what do I even have in this world?
And your self-worth is completely messed up.
Oh, that's so sad.
And Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, another popular star, said he was sexually abused from his, I believe, voice coach. But it's just really sad that they all had to go through that for our entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully there's going to be changes to the children actors because they were even saying long hours. Like these kids, like even though they were in school on set, and then it was doesn't sound like a great environment to be a young child.
Labor laws.
Yeah.
Hello.
Another interesting hot topic. Speaking about celebrities, Kristen Cavallari.
I love her.
Me too.
I really do. Like Kristen, if you hear this ever, come on our podcast.
Yeah, she is awesome. She's 3 kids, recently divorced. She's 37 years old, looks amazing.
Yep.
Like hot body, beautiful, like lives in Nashville, looks like she just wants
Runs
to
an awesome company.
Yes.
Yep.
A clothing company, right?
Uncommon James's jewelry.
Oh, jewelry.
Yep.
That's awesome. Businesswoman.
Yep.
She is making waves because she's dating somebody 13 years younger, 24-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't imagine that.
I mean, I could not either. However, I just think, like, fuck off, people. Like, men date women that are, like, 20, 30 years younger than them all the time. I mean, my late husband was 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
No one said shit to that. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. Behind my back, but, like,
But I know what you mean. Why is it opposite? Totally. 13 years, nobody would really bat an eye if it was opposite. Maybe a little, like, oh, she's in her 20s, you're in your 30s.
Right.
But it wouldn't be such a hot topic the way it is for Kristen.
Right.
That she's dating somebody who's 24.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And if she's happy, she's an adult, let her do her thing.
Yeah. All like, and who's not, maybe he's a mature 20.
Or maybe it's just a fling for fun, and if it ends...
And either way, who cares? It's just annoying that, like, men don't get that same kind of slack, you know?
There's another celebrity in Hollywood. Her name is Kyle Richards. She's a Real Housewives.
Oh, yeah.
She's allegedly, not proven, but allegedly dating somebody who's 26 years younger than her. A country singer, Morgan Wade. She's 29 years old. Kyle is 55.
Wow.
I know. So, like, to me, like, ooh, that's a really big difference.
Yeah, definitely. What do they talk about?
I know. Like,
Such a difference.
I think 15 years, like, okay, like,
Yeah.
26, like, that's a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't have found someone in their 50s attractive when I was 26.
29, yeah.
You know?
No. I mean, I dated before Mike. Yeah, definitely before Mike. Someone that was 5 years younger, and like, I felt that difference.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's a trend. A lot of women are dating younger, they're saying.
Yeah.
And they're saying there's a trend that, like, 20-year-olds are attracted to women who are, like, in their 30s and 40s.
Well, it makes sense because they're confident.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, what is it? Why?
Yes.
You're right. Maybe girls in their 20s.
Yeah.
Don't have the confidence.
I was not like, I did not have
You're right.
anywhere near the amount of confidence in my 20s at all.
Yeah.
I was very self-conscious. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I feel like that's like a point in your life where you're still kind of like feeling yourself out.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, do I? Yeah, am I cool? Yeah. Am I? And then in your 30s, you're like, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm cool or not. I'm doing me.
Yeah.
And at 40, you're just like, fuck.
I'm living my life.
Right.
So I think the message to this all is just live your life.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes you happy and
Yeah.
you're not breaking the law and,
Yeah.
like, everybody's consenting adults.
Right.
Just be happy and do your thing.
100%.
So another topic, obviously, since we're talking about women who are older, having a baby later in life. You see a lot of people doing this.
Yes.
And the pros and cons. And I feel like there are pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to comment on it. The thought, if I had a baby right now, I feel like I'm so tired all the time. I couldn't imagine that. But I do think, like, back, right, in my 20s, I have, I guess, more patience or more maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I had Dylan when I was 27.
Oh, wow. You were in your 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had June when I was, how old am I? I was what, 33?
33?
32, 33?
Yeah.
You were young, mama.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I mean,
You never
youngish.
experienced a geriatric pregnancy.
No, I did not. But
And I feel like that was good for me.
yeah,
And I totally understand and respect people who maybe their 30s, they're working on their careers and they don't think about children until they're 40.
Right.
Like, you do what's right for you.
yeah. It's like, when do you want to have your fun time? I
Yeah.
guess, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, all right, in 10 years, my kids are going to be teenagers.
Yeah.
So. All right,
can go
I'll
to
be
dinners again.
46.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start traveling then,
boy.
travel the world.
Danielle's going to be coming
Goodbye.
out to the bar, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are people who have babies in their early 20s, and by
Yep.
the time they're 40, they're
Right.
truly free.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
My best friend has an 18-year-old daughter who's a freshman in college. You know, I mean,
Wow.
she has 2 younger girls too
Yeah.
that are in school age. But like, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I think
I'm
about
like, you're going to be traveling, and
Yeah.
I'm still going to be,
that was like,
shipping them off to high school.
yeah, that was Mike's like biggest thing. My husband, for everyone listening,
He was young, right?
so he had his first son when he was 20,
Wow.
21.
That was young.
Yeah, obviously not planned, but and then he had another 2 years later. So his kids are almost 14 and almost 16.
Wow.
So, and he's 37. So
That's crazy.
And then, I made him start over.
Yeah. Which is really common in our area. Men in their 30s are having.
Yeah. But to think he would have like had kids out of the house by 41.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
And men have it easy because men can truly have babies in their late 40s,
Yeah.
50s. Like,
yeah.
So they can just,
Yeah. I mean, Mike was 45.
Oh, and his
Right.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure if you asked him, was he just wasn't ready before that? Well, he didn't meet, obviously.
Because he didn't meet me.
Yeah.
I
I think men take a little bit more time to mature.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, overall, some have the knack to be matured a little bit younger, but
And I
Yeah.
think what's so helpful now is technology. You have the ability as a woman to freeze your eggs or
Right.
freeze
Amazing.
embryos.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you don't know, like if you, want to or when.
Right.
Another hot topic that is I find really interesting is to have kids or not to have kids.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And I completely respect people who are like, I don't want it. Cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, great. Like,
Yeah.
yes. It's not easy.
yeah.
It's not easy. And I give people a lot of credit who decide and stick with the fact that they
Yeah.
don't want to have kids, because I
Right.
know a lot of those folks. I've talked to people who didn't want to have children, and like their families pressure them.
Oh, they feel it from society.
Are you sure? Or because, listen, when you're older and you guys are like, in your 80s and you have no one taking, so I appreciate people sticking with that.
Yeah.
Have enough money from not having kids
Oh my God.
to pay someone
Yeah,
to take
yes,
care
for
of
sure. Absolutely.
And I appreciate people sticking to it, even when people ask you, "Are you sure you
Yeah.
want kids?" I'm sure they get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that must be so annoying to explain to everybody
Right.
10 times.
Yep.
Yes, I don't want children. Please
Right.
stop asking.
Yep.
Because I know lots of couples who don't have kids and they're great with my children and they just don't want them. And I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
And when they get older, maybe their nieces and nephews are going to be the ones who are
Right.
helping them out or not, whatever. But doesn't mean that their lives, I feel like, are less fulfilled.
Oh, for sure.
So I feel like if you do or you don't, cool. Once again, do what's right for you.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I love the, people who know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, I think, in our generations and the ones coming up before, is that we are more inept to stick to our individual, desires, and we don't feel so like there's such a need to conform to
Yeah.
everything before. And I think that too maybe is another reason why people are having children later on in life, because one, they're working, they're focusing on their personal brand or building something, and they're like, all right, well, the kids will come later. That's not necessarily the number one focus for them,
Because it is
Whereas,
hard to
right.
throw kids in the mix.
It is.
While you're trying to work or what, it's hard to have a child and throw it in the mix.
Yeah.
So I feel like having that really conscious decision when or not to have them, good for you.
Yep.
Because having a child and throwing them into the mix, things won't get easier. And I feel like, parents need to consciously, there just needs to be, I feel like, more of a conscious choice. And
Right.
Absolutely.
I think it's just better for everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I love all this.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Jen.
If you guys have hot topics you want to hear us debate or talk about, let us know.
Yeah,
like,
for
what do you
sure.
want to hear our opinion on?
Yeah.
Because we got lots of opinions.
Yes. And where is Kate? That's all I
Where's
was-
Kate? Where are you?
Oh my gosh, I know. Hope you're okay, Kate.
Yeah.
We love you.
Send us a sign.
Blink twice if you need help.
Oh my God. Thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe to hear more.
Bye.
Bye.